Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukhaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Swamine Tapaharine. So we are discussing Swami Vivekananda's lectures from Colombo to Almora. Now Swamiji is traveling from Colombo onwards, and first lecture, Swamiji's first lecture in the Indian subcontinent was given in Colombo, and this second lecture is being given in Jaffna. So the first lecture was about the greatness of Hinduism, the liberality of Hinduism, the broad-mindedness of Hinduism, the universality of Hinduism. So this he discussed in first lecture. Swamiji praised the great ancient Hindus for being the first in the world to come out with the greatest of the ideas, the most universal ideas that a humankind is available with. So those ideas have first been discovered by the Hindus in Indian subcontinent. And that was Swamiji's praise in response to the welcome he received in Colombo in the first lecture. So the most of the lecture he was emphasizing again and again the great legacy of the ancient religion of the Vedas, which is founded on the Vedic dictum Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. That means truth is one. The sages call it by various names. The same truth, the same reality, the same ultimate principle is being called by different people, by different learned people, different pandits, different sages, different sadhakas and siddhas, in different name. This was the first ever realization of humanity that gave a platform, a common platform on which the people of different countries, different races, different religions, different castes, different nationalities can come together, and they can stand on this platform on this common platform. What is that common platform? That truth is one. Only the names are different. Because so far Europeans, so far Arabs, so far the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, Persians later on. So these were what they were doing. They used to fight for supremacy of their own gods. They used to kill the other race. They used to destroy the other race by conquest, by military conquest, by use of physical force. They used to force their own god, their own deity, their own Ishtadevata upon other race. The race which is lost, which has lost to these people, that race has to now follow the god of these people, the Ishtadevata of these people, because now they are their conquerors. And this was their method, their methodology of spreading their own ideas, their own ideals and ideologies across the world, so that when the ideology is spread, then your rule, then your conquest becomes very firm, it becomes permanent. Because till the time you don't change the mind of people, you cannot really conquer them. Physically, you can say, suppose one race goes and kills other race. or one race goes and battles with other race and they defeat them. Physically they overpower them. But that will be temporary. That overpowering of by force on some race will be temporary. But if you want to rule, if you want to conquer somebody permanently, then how you conquer is by conquering their mind, is by conquering their very ideas and ideologies, is by changing their very basis of their spiritual ideas, their spiritual ideas. If you change their spiritual gods only, their very refuge of their life and death, then what? Those people will completely get converted to your racial ideals, and they will become your subjects permanently, eternally. They will become your subjects because now they have accepted your God as their God. The moment they do that, your work is over. Now thenceforth you don't have to again attack them physically. Once you go and change somebody's mind, then you don't have to again and again go and fight battles with them. So first what you do? First you fight a battle, then you conquer them, you defeat them, and after defeating them, you force your spiritual ideas and ideals on them and make them accept those ideas, and the work is over. Your job is over because now they are following your ideals, your gods. So now they have become your subjects. They have become your citizens permanently. Ages for ages together, for generations together, they will become your obedient servants. This was so far the methodology in the Western and Middle Eastern landscapes or countries or nations. But Swamiji told India was the first ever civilization which brought out this. First, it declared that Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. They are telling your God and my God is only one, but only names are different. So, they did not go for conquering anybody, because whom to conquer and why to conquer? Because the truth of his God and truth of my God is nothing but same. So that's why Indians never felt like conquering. Why? If they were insecure, see, if this philosophy would not have been acquired by the Indians, this Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti, the truth is one, and sages called this by different names. If this philosophy was never discovered by Indian Hindus, then they would be insecure all the time. Then they would have felt like going out and conquering people and forcing them to accept their local gods. But they were never insecure because they knew that everywhere the same reality is there. Even if I go and conquer somebody and tell him by force that you have to worship Shiva, or you have to worship Vishnu, or you have to worship Devi, I will be doing harm to my own God. I will be disrespecting my own God, because I am regarding my God as the ultimate universal ideal. I am just naming him as a Shiva or naming her as Devi, but I regard entirely in my consciousness that Devi is universal, that Deva is universal. He is not confined to my temple, my society, my race, my country, but he is universal, all-pervading Satchidananda. That is what Hindu believed, Hindu realized in his Vedas, in his Vedanta. Then when I realize it, that my gods are universal, they are all-pervading, they are all exist eternal. So when they are eternal and all-pervading, then how can they not exist in the God of Yahudis, the Yahweh or Jehovah, or the those local gods of the Egyptians or Persians or Sumerians or Christians or Muslims or Jews? How their gods are nothing but my God only, that's Satchidananda, who is there manifesting as Yahweh or Jehovah or so on and so forth. So this he believed. Then he never felt, though, let me go and attack Egypt, or let me go and attack the European countries, let me go and attack East Asia and go conquer them and prove them that my Shiva is the only greatest God and you have to henceforth be Shaivites. My Vishnu is the only greatest God and now henceforth you have to become Vaishnavites. They never felt like that, because they were always satisfied. They were always content with what God they were worshipping, and they were enjoying the beauty of that God, the bliss of that God, the knowledge of that God. They were always enjoying it. And that's why they never felt that insecurity, that incompleteness, that lack of something. They never felt, and they never went out. But Swamiji compared, on the contrary, the Western races, they were always insecure. They always felt, because they never came up with these ideas. They never had put their brains into discovering something which will be eternal, which will be all-pervading. They were always discovering something which is temporary. All their lives, all their technologies, all their intellect, everything was being spent for discovering something which is going to last not very long. So they were always insecure. Even now we see that they are insecure always. Even now they are seeking something, want to conquer others by different ways. So this Swamiji is comparing, and he is praising Hindus, he is praising the Indians. See, you are not the ordinary race. You are the people who thousands of years back, not yesterday or day before yesterday, but thousands of years back, you have come out with the greatest of the philosophy in the universe, the philosophy of the Vedas, that says that ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. Don't fight with each other. Your God and my God is the same God, the same truth. Only name is different, only form is different. So this is the message that Hindus gave. Then Swamiji comes to the second lecture that we read last time also, some portions of it. Then he reaches Jaffna. And as if in continuation, but in the same strain of his first lecture, now he continues. What is now, when he is praising Hindus, when he is praising Hinduism and its great scriptures, Vedas, then he is saying, what are those? Now he wants to explain them. So only praising won't do. What is Vedanta? Vedanta. Every day Swamiji goes on saying, every lecture, so our religion is Vedanta, our religion is Vedanta. But what is Vedanta? If people don't know, then it will be futile. So Swamiji takes up the next, as if in continuation, though the place was different, though probably most of the audience also was different. But Swamiji, knowing that these lectures may be available to people at large later on also, so let me, as if, create a document, create a record of a systematic study of Indian religion of Vedanta. So, and anyway, Goodwin, his faithful recorder of his lectures, was always moving with him. He had come with him from the West. He was accompanying him. And so he knew that my lectures are being recorded, so let it be on record. What Hinduism is, what Vedantism is. So here, this second lecture, Swamiji is calling it Vedantism, not Hinduism. Because he started with the very fact that the word Hindu itself is so much spoiled. Swamiji says this Hindu word is exploited by various people for various reasons. And it has lost its original meaning, original context, it has lost. So, only because of the river Sindhu, river Indus, the people who are living beyond the river Sindhu, river Indus, they are all Hindus. But now people are exploiting that word in various senses and spoiling the very the crux of the word. That's why Swamiji says, I will better use the word Vedantism. Because whether you are anybody, Swamiji says, anybody lives in this land for whichever religion or caste or culture or whatever, but the person basically who were living in this Indian subcontinent are the people belonging to the religion of the Vedas. So their religion is Vedanta, which is the knowledge portion of the Vedas. So Vedanta is their philosophy, which is their basic building philosophy, foundational philosophy. So let us call it, Swamiji says, let us clear our people of this clutter of the name and confusion of Hinduism, and we call it Vedantism. So Vedantism is the title of this lecture. Then initially Swamiji starts with discussing what is this Vedantism, what is this Hinduism per se. Then first, if you want to understand any religion, you will have to go back to scriptures. Because every religion means what? The record of the people, record of the realizations, the spiritual experiences of various people of the founding fathers of that religion, so to speak. Now, because Vedanta, there is no one founding father. Vedanta is not established by one prophet or one messenger of God. There are hundreds and thousands of them who have been ancient times, nobody knows when, that they have contributed their realizations into this great reservoir, the great collection of higher spiritual truths, which is called Vedas and Vedantas. So there are so many people. So now, if we have to understand our religion, we have to go back to them. We have to understand the scriptures, which were the record of their experiences, record of their realizations. So Swamiji says, what are our scriptures? Then we saw last time that Swamiji started with Shruti. What is Shruti? That is Vedanta. So first he explained that our knowledge portion of the Vedas is called Shruti. And he's told that that is our foundation. Everything should match with Shruti. If whatever we hear, whatever stories we hear out of Smritis and Puranas, which Swamiji says later portions, first is Shruti, next is Smriti, and the Puranas. Like this, Swamiji discussed last time. So these Shruti, Smriti and Puranas, these are the three kind of classifications, broad categories Swamiji explained last time. And then he came to Tantra also. So this Shruti must be abided by. It must be abided with. Whatever Smriti and Puranas say, if anywhere we see contradiction, if anywhere we see conflict, if anywhere we see there is a mismatch, then we have to go back to Shruti and understand the meaning of the Shruti as the final, as a final answer to that conflict, to that contradiction. So if you find anything that is not matching with what Shruti says, that you find something in Smriti that doesn't match with Shruti, then you should discard it, the Smriti thing, and consider Shruti thing as the authentic. If there is something in Puranas that doesn't match, that doesn't conform with the truth that is told in Shruti, in Upanishads, in Vedanta, then Swamiji says, Swamiji is not saying out of his own whims and fancies. Swamiji is saying this is our Indian spiritual Guru Shishya Parampara. It is a tradition that says that you should always fall back upon Shruti. You should always fall back upon Vedanta. If whenever there is a conflict in your life, you should always refer to Vedanta for the authentic guidance. So everything is founded on this Vedanta. All the Smritis, all the Puranas, all the Tantras, everything that is there exists in Indian civilization as a religion, as a religious practice, as a spiritual practice. Whatever there is, it is entirely and totally founded on Vedantic ideas, on Upanishadic ideas. So this we will go forward. This I gave this background because we many times, because we are meeting after almost 15 days, and sometimes we may not have attended the previous class. So we will not be able to relate to what Swamiji is saying here. So that was the reason why I was narrating what Swamiji said in first lecture and what Swamiji said in the previous class. So that's why I gave you a background. Now we will go ahead. So Swamiji is saying, now when Swamiji told about the knowledge portion, the Smritis, the Shruti, Smriti, Purana and Tantra, then Swamiji says, but Smriti, Purana and Tantra, these are all varying things. They will vary from society to society, time to time. Smritis will change. Satya Yuga, different Smriti. Treta Yuga, different Smriti. Dwapar Yuga, different Smriti. Kali Yuga, different Smriti. Swamiji says, previous class we saw. So there are, Smritis will keep on changing. Sages will come. They will be born again and again. And they will give new code of conducts. They will give new rules for the society to follow. As if, so to speak, new Manus will be born. And that Manusmriti that was written by Manu in the olden age, that will be revived by the, so to speak, new Manu. The one who comes again in this different yoga, he will come and he will rewrite the Smriti, and that Smriti will be followed by the contemporary society. But that won't be relevant to the society after that yoga is over. So, the time to time Smritis will change. Puranas may also change, or other things, Tantras also may have some modifications. But Shrutis, Upanishads won't change because they are universal, eternal truths. That's why Swamiji says, now Swamiji wants to discuss that common ground. Swamiji says, so these sects differ very much from each other in certain points. Different sects which follow different Smritis, different Puranas, different Tantras. So there are, Swamiji says, our greatness of our Indian society, we have thousands of sects in our society. And every sect has worked on some spiritual idea for thousands of years. And this is our greatness, that we have put all our lives in the spiritual idea. And Swamiji says, I am wondering, I am surprised that how there are not 1,000 more, how there are only this many sects. We think that, so much diverse society, Indian society is too much diverse. But actually Swamiji is saying, I am wondering how it is so less diverse. It should be much more diverse than it is. Because there is a good reason for that. Then he says that though there are so many different sects and they may be differing in their superficial way of rules and behaviors and codes of conduct, but let us find out the common ground on which all these sects of India are standing upon. So he says, we shall not have time to understand the differences between these sects and all the spiritual details about them. Therefore, I shall take up the common grounds, the essential principles of these sects, which every Hindu must believe. Now what happens? Sects may be different. Their superficial differences may be there, but there is a common ground. Everybody is standing on that common ground. And let us find out that common ground so that we will be quickly able to connect with each other. One sect will be able to find connectivity with other sect because they are standing on the same ground. So let us find out that common ground. So Swamiji continues. The first is the question of creation. That is, that this nature, Prakriti, Maya, is infinite, without beginning. It is not that this world was created the other day. Not that a God came and created the world and since that time has been sleeping. For that cannot be. So Swamiji here, he is referring to Western religions. Western religions believe that there is a God who created this world, and after creating, he got tired because it was too much of exertion for that God to create this world. So then he went to sleep for 1 week, he slept. Like this, there are stories in Old Testament, in the very initial chapters of the Bible, Old Testament. So there we saw Genesis. So that tells Genesis of the Bible. So these kind of stories are there in the Bible, which the chapter called Genesis and all. So there you will find such kind of descriptions that God created this world and he got exhausted and he went to sleep. So these kind of things. But what Swamiji is saying, that it cannot be. How can God create and then he went to sleep and all this? So Swamiji says the creative energy is still going on. God is eternally creating and is never at rest. Remember the passage in the Gita where Krishna says, if I remain at rest for one moment, this universe will be destroyed. If that creative energy which is working all around us day and night stops for a second, the whole thing falls to the ground, Swamiji says. There never was a time when that energy did not work throughout the universe. But there is the law of cycles, pralaya. Our Sanskrit word for creation, properly translated, should be projection and not creation. For the word creation in the English language has unhappily got that fearful, that most crude idea of something coming out of nothing. Creation out of non-entity, non-existence, becoming existence, which, of course, I would not insult you by asking you to believe. So Swamiji is saying, the very English concept of the word of creation is a misleading word. Creation cannot be the word that explains the Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. Our Sanskrit word of Srishti, Sthiti and Pralaya is the exact thing. What is that? projection. Srishti means what? Projection. It's not creation. It is projection. And pralaya means what? Dissolution. Means it is involution and evolution, Swamiji says. These two words Swamiji uses many times in his lectures. Involution and evolution. What is happening? Evolution, Srishti. And involution, dissolution. Means it is pralaya. Means again it is going back to cause. And again when time comes, the cause will produce the effect. It will be evolved into effect. The cause is involved and effect is evolved. So this word Swamiji uses for Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. In between is Sthiti, when it is in a preservation state, then it is called Sthiti. So Swamiji is saying, I won't insult you to believe that something created out of nothing. Because creation word is used in a misleading, in a very wrong sense. You create something means there should be something out of which you created. But you don't have anything in this universe before. Before this universe was created, you don't believe anything was there, existence. You don't have any matter, any energy, anything. You say that one day this world was created. So out of what it is created? It cannot be created out of nothing. And I will be calling you insult if I ask you to believe that, previously it was zero and out of zero something was created. So this is a wrong idea. So projection is the idea. Everything was already there. Only it was in a dormant form. It was in a subtle form. It was in a causal form. And that causal entity which was there, it sprang forth. It burst forth into this creation, so to speak. This creation is again, projection is the better word. So Swamiji says that this causal entity burst forth projected into this creation. This world, this universe. So this is a projection. Again this universe will what happen? It will again go back to his causal form. So when we don't understand where this universe gone after Pralaya, where it goes back to its own cause. And it stays there. So the same cause is being translated into effect. It is being made into this world, in this universe, so many different planets, stars, galaxies, so much vast amount of space, and different lokas, different jivas, different animals, plants, everything. And their karma. Whatever their karma is there, that also Swamiji is going to discuss. After this, Swamiji will come to karma. So we'll go ahead. Then Swamiji says, so our word, therefore, is projection. The whole of this nature exists. It becomes finer, subsides, and then after a period of rest, as it were, the whole thing is again projected forward. And the same combination, the same evolution, the same manifestations appear and remain playing, as it were, for a certain time, only again to break into pieces, to become finer and finer, until the whole thing subsides and again comes out. So he is kind of explaining us that this wave, it is like a wave. Wave comes up, projects, then so many things are created. Again wave goes down, pralaya comes, and everything is absorbed. Everything is taken back into cause. And again, after some time, again the wave rises, and then again everything is again projected. The same things which were previously there, the same things will be swallowed back. And after whatever was swallowed before, again those same things will be thrown out. Again they will be swallowed. Again they will be thrown out. Again they will be swallowed. Again they will. So this is what involution and evolution. This is what is Srishti and Pralaya. This is the principle. This is the eternal law of nature. Nature is like that. Energy cannot be destroyed. Science also is saying the law of conservation of energy. So same thing Swamiji is saying. Anyway, then Swamiji further goes, thus it goes on backwards and forwards with a wave-like motion throughout eternity. Time, space and causation are all within this nature. To say therefore that it had a beginning is utter nonsense, Swamiji says. That it is eternally, this waveform is going, and time, space and causation, the very idea of beginning and the very idea of end came inside this nature, which is eternally involving and evolving. So where is the With the very idea of beginning comes inside it, so how can you say, put that idea on the very nature itself? Because inside the nature that idea comes. Oh, it's something began here and something ended here. So you cannot say where the nature began. This question doesn't arise because the very idea of time, the very idea of space has come inside this Prakriti, nature or Maya. So if you are inside Maya, if you are inside Prakriti, if you are inside this nature, then you have space, there you have time, there you have beginning of time, beginning of space, there you have end of time, end of space. But when you go beyond, when you talk about entirety of Maya, entirety of Prakriti, there is no such thing called beginning and end, because it is endless. It is beginningless and endless. So this is the very crux of the thing which we call Maya or Prakriti. No question can occur as to its beginning or its end. Therefore, wherever in our scriptures the words beginning and end are used, you must remember that it means the beginning and the end of one particular cycle, no more than that. So Swamiji says, whenever we say beginning or whenever we say end, it is just that cycle that we are talking about. This cycle started here, this cycle ended here. We are not talking when we say, this creation began so many such and such billion years ago. If scientifically we talk, that means this cycle began some billion years. There were millions before, cycles before, millions they will come hence. But we are referring to this cycle only. So that's what the beginning and end refers to. Then Swamiji says, what makes this creation God? What do I mean by the use of the English word God? Certainly not the word as ordinarily used in English. A good deal of difference. So Swamiji differs here also. He says God, the word God as it is used by the Western in sense or English sense, it is not what we want to use. Then he says, there is no other suitable word in English. I would rather confine myself to the Sanskrit word Brahman. So he says, rather than using this word God, I would rather call it Brahman. Why? He explains. He is the general cause of all these manifestations. Means Brahman. What is this Brahman? He is eternal. Now, Swamiji is calling that Brahman He, but all of us know that because we cannot otherwise go give any other name or anything just to assign it something. So, Swamiji is calling it He. There is no gender in Brahman, of course. So, He is eternal, eternally pure, eternally awake, the Almighty, the All-Knowing, the All-Merciful, the Omnipresent, the Formless, the Partless. So, Swamiji is explaining Brahman. Which Upanishads explain? Where from Swamiji is using these words? The Upanishads use these words. All across the Upanishads, we find these adjectives given to Brahman. They are just indicators. They are through which we can reach Brahman. But they are just kind of indicators. They are just directions to reach the Brahman. These adjectives. That at least we can get some sense what Brahman is. So what is that? Eternal. It is eternally pure. It is eternally awake. Never sleeps. So you cannot say Brahman created this world and went to sleep. It cannot go to sleep. It doesn't know sleep, what sleep is. Sleep comes only for human beings, but not for Brahman. Then it is Almighty. There is no limitation. It can do anything because it is the all-powerful Brahman, all-knowing, all-merciful. So these are the different things he explains. He says, he creates this universe. If he is always creating and holding up this universe, two difficulties arise. So what is the Swamiji says? If he is always creating and holding up this universe, then there will be difficulties. What is that? We see that there is partiality in the universe. So one person is born happy, another unhappy. One is rich and another is poor. This shows partiality. Then there is cruelty also. For here the very condition of life is death. One animal tears another to pieces, and every man tries to get the better of his own brother. This competition, cruelty, horror, and size-rending hearts day and night is the state of things in this world of ours. So, if this be the creation of a God, that God is worse than cruel, worse than any devil that man ever imagined. Hey, says the Vedanta, it is not the fault of God that this partiality exists, that this competition exists. Who makes it? We ourselves. There is a cloud shedding its rain on all fields alike. But it is only the field that is well cultivated which gets the advantage of the shower. Another field which has not been tilled or taken care of cannot get that advantage. It is not the fault of the cloud. The mercy of God is eternal and unchangeable. It is we that make the differentiation. But how can this difference of some being born happy and some unhappy be explained? Why do nothing to make out that difference? They do nothing to make out that difference. Not in this life, but they did in their last birth. And the difference is explained by this action in the previous life. So Swami says, how can you say that somebody is born poor and somebody is born rich, somebody is born happy, somebody is born unhappy? So they have not done anything. So Swami says they have not done anything in this life, surely, but they have done it previously. That is what Vedanta says. See, don't look at, that is what one cycle. Don't look at only this cycle. It began somewhere and it ended sometime. So life is also, everybody individual life is also like a cycle. Continuous involution and evolution. Involution, evolution. Birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. So everyone also, like this whole creation, all beings are the part of this creation and they are also eternally there. All of us are eternal. So we are being born, we are dying, again being born, again dying, again being born. So when we are born happy, that means we have done something good in the previous life. If we are being born rich, that means we have done something, that I am born already given that resources readily. Because already I have done something to gather those resources. I have already performed a lot of, exerted a lot of hard work I have done in the previous life. The hard work has yielded the result in this life. Because that cannot be destroyed. My actions cannot be destroyed in this prakriti, in this maya, in this nature. Everything stays, whatever is there. So it just, what happens? It evolves and involves. Whatever I do, whatever I experience, everything is just nothing but is being swallowed back and again thrown out. Again swallowed back and thrown out. So no karma, no thought, no action is being destroyed. So that is why everyone is born happy. So some people are born happy, some people are born rich, some people are born unhappy, some people are born poor, because they did it like that. They wanted themselves to be poor. They probably did not do any hard work in the last birth, in their previous birth. So if you don't do any hard work, naturally you will be born poor. If you have done a lot of hard work in the previous life, next life you will be born already with resources. So this way, the law, eternally existing law in this nature works, and it doesn't destroy anything. It is not partial. That is what Swami said. It is not partial. You are calling it God partial. You are calling Brahman partial because you don't know. Brahman cannot be partial because it is everywhere. It is eternal. It is all pervading. It is almighty. It is always awake. It never sleeps. And it has nothing to do with any one person or any one individual. It is equally existent in every person, in everything. So where is the partiality? But the partiality that you are seeing is nothing but because of your ignorance of that person's previous life. If you see, so this person is suffering, how God has given his suffering? No, God has not given him suffering. Neither has he given him happiness. The Brahman does not give anybody happiness nor suffering. The cloud is giving rain to everybody equally, Swamiji is saying. But the field, which is already cultivated, the farmer had already readied everything. He had already put the bulls before the rain came and He has already tilled the land. So as soon as the rainwater came, the field absorbed the rain, and it soaked the whole thing, and the agricultural cultivation started coming. So where is the cloud? Why are you blaming the cloud? That, oh, see, that cloud did not give me rain, or it did not help me produce the agricultural product. So this is simply ignorance. This is simply our foolishness. So what is this God or Brahman? He is equally giving his mercy on everyone. But only thing is to work for that. If your agricultural field is tilled, you have done your exertion, you have done your hard work, then you will get it, the fruit. So you will be happy. Then another 5 minutes are there, we will proceed further. We now come to the second principle on which we all agree. Not only all Hindus, but all Buddhists and all Jains also. We all agree that life is eternal. It is not that it has sprung out of nothing, for that cannot be. Such a life would not be worth having. If something has come out of nothing, then it won't be worth having also, because it is something, nothing it is actually. If something coming out of nothing is actually nothing, so what is the use of holding upon it? Everything that has a beginning in time must end in time. If life began but yesterday, it must end tomorrow, and annihilation is the result. Life must have been existing. It does not now require much acumen to see that. For all the sciences of modern times have been coming around to our help, illustrating from the material world the principles embodied in our scriptures. So, even the modern science is coming out to the same. Again, it is now slowly reconciling with what was embodied, the principles embodied in our scriptures. That life is eternal. Now sciences are also slowly coming to this conclusion. You know it already, that each one of us is the effect of the infinite past. The child is ushered into the world not as something flashing from the hands of nature, as poets delight so much to depict, but he has the burden of his infinite past. For good or evil, he comes to work out his own past deeds. That makes the differentiation. This is the law of karma. Each one of us is the maker of his own fate. This law knocks on the head at once all doctrines of predestination and fate, and gives us the only means of reconciliation between God and man. So this law of karma is the best explanation. It reconciles everything. That any child is born, he is born with the burden of his infinite past, Swami is saying. So nobody is born fresh. Nobody is born like a pristinely pure and this thing. He has so many things hidden into the child, a small child. We may be saying that, oh, such an innocent child. What does he know? He is so innocent, or she is so innocent. She is a 2-year baby girl or baby boy. We may say like that because we see only limited sense. But that baby girl or baby boy of 2 years or 1 year, it is having the burden of the infinite past. And everybody, all of us believe this, Swami says. Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, they have come to this conclusion that all of us come to this world bringing the infinite past, infinite burden of our past karma. So, whatever our fate, whatever destiny is nothing but of our own making. What we did before, we were child now. So, whatever as a child we are experiencing, whatever as a young person we are experiencing, whatever we are experiencing in this life is nothing but our past, the burden of the karma. We and none else are responsible for what we suffer, Swami says. We are the effects and we are the causes. Causes are also we and effects are also we. So we should not blame anybody else. Though we are trained by the society or surroundings to blame every time everything happens, we are first putting the blame on society or the neighbors or government or for some foreign some entity or some God is sitting in heaven or something. Something or the other we will blame. Oh, something happened to me, good happened to me, so that also we will put on somebody, and bad happened to me, that also we will put on somebody. But Swamiji says, no, everything you are the cause. Whatever good or bad you are having, it is only you are making. Don't blame anybody else. For good also, for bad also. Next, he says, we are free, therefore you are free. So if you are, say suppose good was given to you by somebody and you have to enjoy that good, then you are bound. If bad was given by somebody else and you had to suffer that, then also you are bound. But it is not given by some God or Brahman or Almighty or anybody. Whatever good was given to you, it is all your created good. Whatever bad is given to you, suffering, that is also your own creation. So you are ever free. It is your only good and bad that you are enjoying and suffering. So where is the question of bondage? See, when bondage comes, when I give you something and you have to carry it, then the bondage, oh, so see, such and such person has given me something good, so now I am enjoying it. Or such and such person has given me something bad, so I have to suffer it. But here there is nobody that gives you good or gives you bad. That makes you enjoy the good or suffer the bad. No. You are the only one who have created good and enjoying your own past good. And you are the only one who is suffering your own past bad. So there is no God who is giving you good, neither bad. And that's why you are free. That is what the very, this Vedanta says, that you are ever free. You are only creating. So that's why it encourages you to do more good. If you want happiness, you can. Always you can be happy, ever happy, eternally happy. How? Just do good always. That is the crux. Because you are ever free, you have the power to do good. You keep on doing good, then you will always be happy. You never did any bad, then you will never have to suffer. Vedanta gives you the secret of being always free. You're always happy, eternally happy. So this Vedanta says, this is religion says, that nobody is responsible for your sufferings and nobody is responsible for your enjoyments. Everything it is making of your own. We will finish now with this paragraph. If I am unhappy, it has been of my own making, and that very thing shows that I can be happy if I will. If I am impure, and that is also of my own making, and that very thing shows that I can be pure if I will. The human will stands beyond all circumstance. Before it, the strong, gigantic, infinite will and freedom in man, all the powers, even of nature, must bow down, succumb, and become its servants. This is the result of the law of karma. What a wonderful secret Swamiji gives. This is nobody will give such a secret of life. You are the creator of your own destiny, that so many times we hear. But Swamiji nicely explained how you are the creator of it, how you are ever free. So don't blame somebody, some cloud or some entity in heaven or some hell. But you take your responsibility, and then what Swami says, your will, your own will, which has made you suffer now, which is making you suffer, change that will. You change that will so that it will make you enjoy. It will give you bliss. So that will, then if you change that will and do the karma accordingly, the whole nature will have to succumb to your will. The whole nature will have to be a servant of your. Why? Because those people who are enjoying now, the nature is giving them enjoyments as a servant gives enjoyments to their master. The natures become the servant and gives enjoyments because those people have willed and done good karma and they have deserved that enjoyment. So nature is very happily serving them enjoyments. Nature is very happily serving them happiness, supplying them health, supplying them beauty, supplying them long life, everything. So what is nature is doing? Nature is servant. And what man? That person who is enjoying, who is having good health, long life, beautiful body and everything. What is he? He had done something. He had willed that I will have a good, beautiful body. I will have a good health. I will have a long life. I will have a good joy and happy life. Then nature was waiting. The moment he willed and he did according to that karma, he did. Then nature immediately gave an effect of that karma. Sir, please come, sir. Please have this effect. Please, I am waiting for you. Please take this happiness. So Swami is saying that the nature will become your servant. What is missing in you is that will. You are not willing to be happy. If you will strongly, I will be happy. Then nature will have to succumb because your will is all powerful. You are ever free. You are only designing your own happiness. You are only designing your own sorrow. Then why are you? There is nobody to blame. There is nobody make any responsible. So take this responsibility. Make your will strong and make nature behave according to your will. Make nature succumb to your will. So this is the crux of the philosophy, which is a wonderful lecture Swamiji gives on Vedantism. This is told by Vedanta. Vedanta says this. Swamiji, this religion, what he is explaining, what is Hinduism, what is ancient religion of Vedanta, India, Indian subcontinent, why this country is great, why this nation is great, why these people are great, because they have come out with this wonderful theory which can make everybody happy. Nobody will suffer if they know this simple thing. Because we don't know, because we don't believe in this simple thing, very, very simple thing. That's why the whole world is suffering. Everywhere is there. So if we understand Vedanta, nobody will suffer. That is why Swami said, Vedanta is going to be the future religion of the world. Because people, ultimately, they want to know the solution of their suffering. And they will have to come to Vedanta. That's what Swami told. Even modern science is coming to this reconciliation of Vedanta. So ultimately, everybody will have to take refuge in Vedanta to be eternally happy. So we will take this up in the next, after the 15 days. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.